Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Ostrich Fox, and in my last video covering the 6 new images from Fionna and Cake Season 2, I suggested that Finn's life might be on the line as a direct result from his expedition with Simon in the beginning of the series, which is what brings Huntress Wizard to Fionnaworld. One thing I actually overlooked that practically confirms this theory is Max's description for the show that actually gives us a straightforward synopsis of the season, which was featured in a press release promoting New York Comic-Con. This summary makes it clear that the core conflict of this season revolves around our beloved adventurer and that he is in some serious trouble. There's also a key detail that I misinterpreted with Finn's back wound, so I'd like to set the record straight there. And before we dive in, please like and subscribe if you end up enjoying the video, and thanks for your support. So HBO Max's synopsis for Fionna and Cake Season 2 reads, based on characters from the beloved Adventure Time franchise, this multiverse hopping series follows the alternate universe versions of Finn and Jake as they discover their own paths forward. After breaking free from their unorthodox origins in Ice King's fantasies, Fionna, Campbell, and her trusty sidekick slash BFF Cake the Cat settle into a new life in their world, while keeping in touch with Simon Petrikov. But as new challenges arise, Fionna and Cake must team up with Huntress Wizard for a quest to save Ooh's favorite hero. With appearances from Marshall Lee, Marceline the Vampire Queen, Princess Bubblegum, and Finn the Human, Adventure Time Fionna and Cake transports fans of the classic series to worlds both familiar and alien. There's 3 major takeaways that I have from this description. Simon still has a role to play in the story, Finn is in peril, and Fionna specifically is the key to saving him, and we will be traveling to new worlds in the Adventure Time multiverse instead of only revisiting those from Season 1. I mentioned in my last video that Simon's remark about moving will likely become a recurring plot thread in this spin-off, and given that they went out of their way to include him in the synopsis, we can safely assume he's going to have more than a quick cameo. There's actually a good chance that Simon's presence in these episodes will set up future seasons of the show. One of the goals with Fionna and Cake is fleshing out the characters who didn't get too much spotlight in the original Adventure Time, and while we still got plenty of Ice King, we really only got glimpses of Simon as just a normal guy. Now yes, Fionna and Cake Season 1 could have been a great spot to wrap up Simon's arc, but he spent that season depressed, eager to destroy his mind and become the Ice King again in order to save Fionnaworld and escape the trials and tribulations of the modern world, one that he has to endure without Betty at his side. I think the Adventure Time crew wants to give us a look at a happier, healthier Simon who's searching for a new purpose in life without being at rock bottom. And I do think switching career paths, or at the very least adjusting his career ever so slightly, would be a great call. Simon was an antiquarian prior to becoming the Ice King, a profession that's inherently anchored to the past, as he studies and collects ancient artifacts. This was once a fitting occupation for his character, but now it can feel a little regressive since his whole arc was centered around letting go, moving forward, and accepting things for what they are. Now that there's a whole multiverse at his disposal, Simon can take interest in exploring the unknown, adventuring around to different worlds, and collecting supernatural items that never would have existed in his own universe. There's also a chance that they're taking alien worlds very seriously, since BMO did set the stage for that kind of stuff, alongside other episodes in the original series, and Simon's actually going planet hopping. Both of these could set off a domino effect that introduces us to a new conflict in Season 3 or beyond. The show's real popular on Max, y'all. I think Fionna and Cake's probably sticking around for a while. Then there's our boy Finn the Human. While Simon is on the up and up, Finn has absolutely seen better days. The fact that Huntress Wizard and Fionna team up to save Ooh's favorite hero confirms that Finn was affected by the heart of the forest, though not in the way I originally believed. Ever since I first watched this episode back in 2023,
we're all getting old.
I thought Finn amassed the wounds on his back from fighting this giant magic bear that appears to actually be some sort of mysterious transformed individual that spotted creeping in the forest beforehand. But in reality, this is the result of Finn flinging himself into the tree with berries growing on it after putting the bear in a chokehold. Finn was impaled by the branches of this tree, which appears to have infected him, as his wounds are coated in a mysterious green fluid. Simon also came close to making physical contact with this tree before he was derailed by the bear attack, which telegraphed how touching this tree probably isn't the greatest idea in the first place. Now, just because Finn was infected by the tree and not the bear itself, doesn't mean the theory that he might be turning into a werebear isn't feasible. This bear might have been infected through the exact same means. Maybe this bear is a part of the tree's hive mind, which is why it attacked Simon when he was about to touch it. The bear was trying to protect the tree. But whether or not Finn's going through some sort of mutation, or has just fallen ill and is on the brink of death, there's a race against time that has left Huntress Wizard with no choice but to cross worlds in order to save him. The color script for the Season 1 finale that the background supervisor shared did reveal that the montage at the end originally included Huntress Wizard in a cave, seemingly tending to an ill Finn, who who's lying on the ground and wrapped up in a blanket, so we can assume that he felt the effects of the forest shortly after parting ways with Simon. Again, I do think there's a strong possibility that the cure lies exclusively in Fionnaworld, especially because Fionna took up gardening in the final moments of season 1, and Hunter is also a gardener. Plus, this show is geared at the adults who grew up with Adventure Time, and let's face it, most of us are taking up gardening at this age. So using it as a launching pad for another fantastical voyage just makes sense to me. Yet I can't help but wonder if Huntress Wizard needs Fionna in particular to save Finn. Not something from Fionnaworld, not Fionna's skill set, just Fionna Campbell, the human. One thing that season 1 introduced without a resolution is Fionna and Cake's ability to drain the magic from objects and even people, normalizing them in the process. As shown with that poor hot dog night and the Winter King's crown.
Why did you do the hot dog night number 7?
Since this was never elaborated on, we can assume this is the result of Fionnaworld's permanent nerf into a mundane, grounded reality, and that the universe getting canonized doesn't necessarily remove this effect. Considering that this might actually be a unique magical ability in its own right that Fionna and Cake possess, Huntress Wizard might actually try to train the two to master this ability so that they can heal Finn by draining his body of the magical infection from the heart of the forest. Alternatively, maybe Finn needs something akin to a magical blood transfusion, and Fionna, being the variant based directly off this particular Finn, is the best match. Either way, it seems like season 2 is building up to the highly anticipated moment where Fionna and Finn finally meet, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. Finally, there's a confirmation of new worlds, something that I wasn't entirely sure we would get, since they did say that season 2 would be spending a lot more time in Fionnaworld, but since it is a selling point of the show, it makes sense that they wouldn't abandon that aspect completely. With this in mind, the appeal of these worlds is to see the insane domino effects that sprout from one simple change. What if Marceline was raised by the Vampire King? What if the Lich never existed? What if the Lich won? The list goes on. So maybe this image of baby Finn isn't actually in Farm World as a result of Ooh never thawing out after the crown went haywire. Maybe this is a world that just remained frozen beyond the 400 years. Maybe the crown fused with someone else, similar to how it emerged with Gunter to become the Ice Thing. I'd love to see a reality where the Gum War actually happened and Gumball won, or a reality where Flame Princess actually did destroy the world in a fit of rage. And also, I want to see some sort of follow-up on if Betty really did reincarnate after separating herself from Gold. I imagine Martin will pop up in one of these worlds since he was on the lam in season 1, and his son is on his deathbed, even though bro probably wouldn't care too much about that, but hey, he might surprise us. Probably not though. Let us know what worlds you want to see in Fionna and Cake season 2 in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going over on Twitter and Instagram at AllStrickFox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable notifications on so that you can stay in the loop with Fionna and Cake season 2 and all sorts of other animated goodness. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace!